And we are live. So, welcome to the Gilded Gamers live podcast by Petrie's Family Games here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And this is episode number 2. I am Robert, your co-host, and to my left, your right, co-host JD.
Good evening, all.
I feel like I'm underdressed tonight.
You know, I wasn't going to say anything, but since I look so fabulous, I'll give you a pass.
Oh, so you're dressed up enough for both of us?
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm dressed up tonight because tonight is brought to you by the number 2 and the letter L as we celebrate our love of 2-player games. Because tonight is the annual couples dessert night, and it's become a tradition here at Petrie's Family Games, which we really, really enjoy bringing to you all. And as a special treat, we are going to share this event with you in part live tonight.
That sounds great. So let's get down to our live cast. We got a lot of information and a lot of fun things to share with all of our viewers tonight. We'll be meeting some of our guests that are joining us for the couples night. Well, you'll be meeting them.
That's true, because
I'll be in here because I'm not dressed up.
Not fit to be
so
seen.
I get to stay in the closet, as Cameron calls it. So we're going to be looking at some 2-player games. Not only 2-player only, but 2-player friendly.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about some new games that are in the store.
That's true.
So, and we can't forget about the event update.
That's true.
So you're going to be highlighting some events. And tonight's show is powered by Repos Productions. See it way over there in the corner. Yes, we love them. And we'll be checking with our guests shortly and throughout the night. And I think it's time to talk about some highlights. I mean, we got tons of events. Where can they go on the website to see every event for the month?
Well, that is a great question. Anytime you have questions about our events, you can look on petriesgames.com. We have several helpful tabs, and one of them happens to be calendar. Easy, right? You just click on that tab and it's going to show you what's going on. You can click through the entire year if you want to, because some of our events are recurring and happen on a weekly basis. But tonight, I just wanted to share with you a couple of the events that are special. So things that are not part of our regular rotation, roundup, lineup,
Things that need special attention.
Right.
Yep.
So, let's start with our Envoy demos. We've got a couple coming up in February on the 3rd and the 10th. We have Koi, they're going to be demonstrating, which looks like just a beautiful little game. And
like
also
Japanese Koi.
Right.
Oh.
And then also Drahanum, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know. I'll have to ask my Envoy rep.
Trahanum.
Apple, potato. We also are having our Magic the Gathering Ravnica Alliance Standard Showdown. We're going to have 2 of them coming up. One is on February 3rd, and then the second one is on February 17th for the Standard Showdown 2 as the second, just in case you didn't catch that. I love numbers. We also have we're moving our Vanguard store tournament because the Magic guys are coming in, so that is being moved around. I just found out about that today. Sorry about that, everybody. That's why you check our website. We also are having our singles board game meetup. It is something that has been not surprisingly popular for a new edition. It has been very well attended. So if you are looking for something that is not couples focused and you are just looking for a group of people to come play with that aren't necessarily on
Do
a
you
weeknight.
have to be single?
No,
Okay.
we don't. It's not discriminatory. It's just that it's designed for those people that can't come on Thursday night, which is our normal board game
Right.
night, because you gotta work or go to school
Gotcha.
or whatever. We also are having a D&D Ravnica RPG event on February 16th. It is going to be an event. They are usually very well integrated. There's lots going on, and I'm going to have to refer you to our website for further details, petriesgames.com/RPG. We also have our Ravnica draft event happening for the Magic the Gathering, and that is going to be happening on February 16th. And praying for superpowers. If you don't know,
I pray for superpowers all the time.
I know, who doesn't, right? Prehensile hair, flying.
So if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, totally prehensile hair.
Really?
Totally. I don't know, what would you do?
I want to be like Violet from Incredibles. I want to have like the invisibility and the make force powers and stuff. I want to be Violet.
All right. Praying for Superpowers is a podcast that Petrie's has the great pleasure of sponsoring, and they are going to be having a launch event here on March 30th. We're going to head into March because I want you to know with enough advance warning that you can look them up, check out their YouTube channel, check out their Patreon page, because they have got some special stuff coming up, and we want to be a part of letting you know all about it.
Yes.
And then finally, I really want you to listen for a moment as we talk about flesh. Ah, defender of the universe. I cannot sing the song out of my head.
No,
when I was writing this down, it's been like
I thought it was not. Oh, I thought it was Flash Gordon.
No.
What?
No,
I
no.
thought it-
Anyway, I'm not going to take up any more time getting that theme song in your head. You're going to have to watch the movie now. You're welcome. But for those of you who are unaware, we are having our inaugural Flash Gordon RPG starting on March 8th. Again, /RPG on the petriesgames.com, and you will be able to read all the information about that. We always encourage you to sign up for RPG and events in advance so that we make sure we have enough seats around the table for you.
That's true. I do have one add-on.
Okay.
So, General Dictator Cameron asked us to please, with forcefulness, please mention that we need a volunteer to help run Pokemon on Sundays. So, our last volunteer won't be able to make it anymore. So, if you would like to volunteer to help run Pokemon on Sundays, all you have to do, send a Facebook message right here, Petrie's Family Games. Just send a message. Say, Cameron, I'd like to volunteer to run Pokemon on Sundays. And it's not Pokemon Go. It's not the app.
Although
It's
we
the
do
actual
have a
game.
Pokestop here. I'm just
We
saying.
do. We do. So, I think we're about ready for you to go out and meet some of our guests. So while she's getting ready to do that, so you can go ahead and disconnect and plug into our super high-speed, expensive mobile camera. So thank you again for joining us tonight, and also thank Repost Productions as powering tonight's live cast. If you're curious about Repost Productions or any of the products featured on tonight's live cast, please feel free to ask any of the helpful members here at Petrie's. And let me see, I do believe that JD is ready. All right, JD, can you hear me? Oh, she needs to unmute. She needs to unmute. Let's see, it looks frozen. I'm wondering if we can get her back real quick. Little technical difficulties. Let's see here. Here we go. Oh, there she is. Can you hear me?
Sorry, we got.
Oh, you're a little muted. Can you hear us?
Out of order. Too many Chavs.
You can't hear me. Did you unmute?
It is not letting.
Oh, you're coming in and out. We can hear you. We can hear the background.
Well, as long as you can hear some.
Oh yes, we can hear you very well.
Oh, good. Good. I was afraid that I had lost connection.
Nope, you're
Well,
good. Take it away, JD.
Well, welcome everyone to the couples dessert night. We are letting a couple people get settled in before I attack them with, questions, because this is a fascinating event. We are always excited. One of our volunteers. There, John. Thank you for coming in. And I'm just going to wander around for a minute. Oh, look who it is. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if you know these famous people, Robert, but this is Connie and Grant. They are very famous here at Petrie's. They are, and worldwide, naturally.
Of course, worldwide, absolutely.
Well, I hope that you guys will allow me to ask you a couple of questions as you're setting up. I hope we aren't interrupting too terribly. Is this your first couples dessert night, or have you been? It is.
We've been trying to come for years, but it's always sold out. So you have to get it.
That is true. That is very true. Well, welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are here. What game are you playing tonight? Ooh, it's very pretty. Gorgeous. Look at these. Oh man, that is
dice
very
beautiful.
That is very pretty. I know this, but our audience doesn't. Are you familiar with a lot of two-player games or games in general?
TV screen all the time. And it's great to try out new games. Every Thursday night we're here trying new games.
Awesome. That's awesome. So, do you guys have a lot of two-player games in your family rotation at home, or do you have a large group that you can call to whenever?
We have a number of two-player games, and then we have a lot that we play as two-player games. One of my favorites is Star Round. I love that. Grant really loves 700s. Yeah, I'm going to he really loves 700s. So we really love it.
Well, awesome. So, is this game something you're familiar with, or is it a new title for you?
I played it once before, so I'm kind of re-familiarizing myself with it. And she's been wanting to play for quite some time, so that's why we picked it out.
Very pretty. Well, I will let you guys get started on gameplay and rules review. Is there a particular dessert that you guys are looking forward to tonight? Well, man, have we got everything you need over there. Come here, you guys.
Hey, JD.
Yes.
So what might be easier, because it's kind of hard to hear them, you might want to flip the camera on your phone and do more of a selfie type of shot. That way they're closer to your microphone.
Alrighty. I will get better at this, I promise.
Oh yeah, we're winging it. We're a bunch of winging nuts. We'll figure it out.
That's true.
This is our first time doing a remote camera, so...
That's true. You guys that's the wonders of live. We are going to, try a little experiment before I get too fancy with you all up in my face. For your sake. I know I look fabulous, but...
And then you also have the mini tripod as well.
Good evening, folks. Do you mind if I interrupt your game for just a moment to ask you a question? I am JD. I am here with the live cast for the Petrie's Guild of Games, and I'm wondering if this is your first time at the couples dessert. No. Have you been here before? How many?
Third year.
This is your third year?
Yeah, we make sure to come every year. Every since we discovered it.
That is amazing. Are you guys seeing any new titles on the table for you to play this year?
We hadn't gone over there yet because this was already set up. We knew it.
But this is new.
I feel like this is new.
It looks like it's a fairly easy game, especially if you like Star Trek and all things that make things split into multiple levels.
We're having some disputes about the rules multiple times, so but it's a playtest kind of thing, so we'll be giving some feedback there.
Awesome.
Any of the games.
Are there games that you have at home that are part of your regular routine that you play as a two-player?
You can place your marble on.
I mean, we have a bunch of two-player games. We don't play very often. We also have a 3-year-old at home, but she takes up most of our time. So this is a good night for us to get away.
Yeah, you guys should do it.
Yes, that would be fun, wouldn't it? A biannual event. Well, that's exciting. Are there desserts that you always look forward to then, since you have been here so often?
The chocolate fountain is fun, but it's always been really good. Whatever cakes there are.
Well, I will let you guys get back to your game then. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much. How was the volume on that, Robert?
What's
Try to hold the
that?
microphone a little closer to them.
Ooh, desserts.
Oh yes, I thought I would, whet everyone's appetite. Get a gander here at the chocolate fountain. And someone else mentioned the cupcakes. Look at that.
Oh. I'm on a keto diet. I can't touch any of that. You're killing me, Jamie. You're killing me.
Well, I also want to just highlight, of course, that we have our famous cheesecake homemade, and our famous carrot cake, also homemade, and the gorgeous looking chocolate cake.
You're enjoying
They
this
are-
too much, JD. You are torturing me.
Am I tempting you? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
One of our gorgeous volunteers dressed up and pretty for the evening, because of course we want all of our couples to feel like they are special, which they are. I didn't catch whether or not you were able to hear them a little better.
Yes.
Okay, great. I will continue to do that. I just wanted to also pan really quickly across our table of games for the evening. These are just some of the games that we are highlighting this evening. We also, as our previous couple said, they are play testing a game because we do have some exclusive events going on this evening for play testing new games. So that's super exciting too. Let's see, who do I want to attack next? Hello.
Oh. Who's that handsome bald gentleman in
Look
the red shirt?
at this gorgeous couple. I just have to stop and talk to this gorgeous couple. Do you mind if I just ask you a couple of questions? I am JD. I am from the Petrie's Guild of Gamers live cast, so you are live. I can totally tag yourselves later. I'm not, saying whatever. But I just wanted to ask, is this your first time at the couple's dessert, or have you been before?
No, first time.
Well, no wonder you both look so fancy. Oh, just gorgeous. Well, are you familiar with the game that you are playing this evening? This is a great game. You are going to enjoy yourselves. I just wanted to ask, do you have a regular rotation of two-player games that you play at home, or is this kind of a new thing to you?
Most of the time we've got the kids with us, so we play with their kids too.
And that's fair. Do you find games are something you do to relax, or is it kind of you have to brace yourselves to teach the kids and be patient, or is this just something that you really enjoy and are trying to bring your kids into that? Yep. That's awesome. Well, I hope you guys learned some new games this evening, and I know you're going to enjoy this. This is my couple. So that's when I felt like I could interrupt his explaining. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy.
Thanks.
Right. We are well underway here. You can see that we are almost full up. That
How
we
many
do
couples
have a sold out.
do you see right now? If you counted them, how many do you see?
Well, goodness, we are sold out tonight, so I think we really are only missing maybe one or two couples for the evening.
Wow.
And they will probably be getting in shortly. But you can also see that we have quite a few volunteers that are, up and standing, ready and able to explain the rules to you, to help you along if you have some confusion, because we don't want the couple's dessert to be one of strife, but of love.
Because the show is brought to you by the letter L.
That's true. We are super excited to have a playtest going on, and of course the game designer is here this evening to answer questions. That's what's going on back there. We also have some old favorites like patchwork happening right here.
Nice.
They look like they are well underway. It's very exciting. We have another couple playtesting the new game here for the evening called 4 Level. It just makes me think about Star Trek every time.
Yes.
Good evening. Do you mind if I ask you a question? My name is JD, and I am with Petrie's Guild of Gamers livecast, and we are live right now. Feel free to tag yourselves later. And I just was wondering, is this your first time at the Couple's Dessert, or have you been here before?
She surprised me. I have no idea.
How exciting! See, it's an early Valentine's Day date. Isn't that nice? Oh, well done, you. Good choice. Now, I see that you are playing one of our new playtest games. Have the designer been here to talk to you about how it all works? Are you?
Just have a question. I'm not sure.
Isn't it nice that he's right here? You can ask. You don't have to worry about fretting about rules and covers. That's nice. Do you guys have a list of games at home that you play on a regular basis with just the two of you, or are you more of a group game?
We have 4 kids. Favorite games I actually got here at the game exchange that they do. So it's called Grim Forest. Absolutely.
Do you guys generally play as a family then, or are you kind of... That's good.
She prefers co-op games of the stress of,
I don't like the competition.
Well, and plus that makes for a good family environment when you're gaming. That makes sense. And are you looking forward to any other new games that they have at the table, or have you been able to look at? Have you had a chance to gander at the dessert table yet?
From afar.
You just dove right into gaming first then. Well, I can't fault that.
we just came from Chile, so we're kind of
See, that's smart. Let it settle. Well, good job. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will let you go. Thank you so much. Alrighty. This is great. We have a lot of really beautiful games and beautiful people. You guys look great. Man, a lot of the 2-player games are so attractive.
Oh yeah, they have beautiful, beautiful components.
So these symbols are based
Let's see here. Of course, couples can at any time choose to come and grab a new game. Sometimes people are completionists and they want to play the whole game, and sometimes they decide that it's just not the right game for them and want to avoid the frustration of not understanding. So it just all works out.
Well, awesome, JD. How about you come back in here and we start talking about some of these awesome 2-player games?
That is a great idea. I will be right in.
All right. As JD is making her way back in. All right. So, I thought I would tell you about one of my favorite two-player games called Seven Wonders Duel. So, it's also by Repos Productions. Come on in, JD.
Hey.
So, Seven Wonders Duel is a two-player only game designed by Anton Bauza and Bruno Cathala, which you guys can see right there in the picture. They were receiving an award at Essen in 2016. It is published by Repos Productions, and Seven Wonders Duel has won several awards. Yes. The 2015 Golden Geek Best Two-Player Board Game, 2015 Swiss Gamers Award. So it's an international game. 2015 Trick Track Dior.
That's a tongue
He's
twister.
French. Dior. And then the 2016 International Gamers Award, General Strategy for Two Players. So this is, if you are on a budget or you just were like, man, I want the best two-player game, Seven Wonders Duel is amazing. So Seven Wonders Duel uses card drafting and set collection to build your tableau. So basically, you have a set of wonders that you're trying to construct, but you are also have a card pyramid, I guess you could say, that is also available for you to pick from. So when you draft cards, you only have partial information. Some cards are face down, some are face up, and they overlap like a pyramid. So the ones that are face up, you're like, oh, should I take that one? But then it's going to reveal two more underneath for my opponents, or they see the one underneath when they take theirs. Oh, they're going to get that one. They really want that one. I can't take that card above it because then it'll unlock it for them. So maybe I pick another guy. It's very simple to learn, but you sit there and you're like, I want to do that, but I can't because it's going to give her that. And I don't want her to have that because she beat me last time and it's just not going to work. So you have to constantly monitor your opponent and what they're doing. And it comes in a little box, not this big.
Yeah.
It's not very big. And there are 3 ways to win in Seven Wonders Duel. Either military victory, which you're able to increase your military strength to push the conflict pawn all the way to your opponent's city. That's an insta-win. You do that, game ends, you won. Then there's the scientific victory. If you're able to get all 6 different scientific symbols, it's an auto-win. If for some reason those 2 things don't happen, you go through the entire game, then it's by points. And it retails for $26.99, and you can find it. We have copies out there in the store, so I saw them. You can even bling it out. They've got metal coins for it. They have wooden inserts. There's an expansion, Pantheon. You have not played Pantheon?
I haven't played Pantheon.
Oh my gosh.
Man. Every time I come in this store, I have to call my husband and ask him what our gaming budget is.
So that's probably my favorite 2-player game. So other favorites of mine that I love to play with my beautiful wife, Adelaide, who's at home right now, and she's ruthless. Oh my gosh, she's ruthless. It's like when her and I play, it's like gloves are off. We have a good time. Jaipur is a fun game. Have you played Jaipur?
I haven't yet, but I have been researching it.
It's a great little card game in a little box about this big. What's funny, it's about camels. And you want to get more camels and more gems. On one card, there's an illustration. There's a teddy bear or a panda bear. It's a panda on the camel. It has no game significance whatsoever, but my wife has to have that camel.
It's a special camel.
So we fight over this special camel with a panda that has no in-game significance whatsoever. We also have Targi. that just had a reprint, which was really great because you could only get that. You could typically only get the German version, but they just went through a reprint. So that's another 2-player only. So Seven Wonders Duel's 2-player only. Jaipur is 2 players only. Targi is 2 players only. My other honorable mentions are 2-player friendly, and I think they're best with 2 players, even though they play up to 4, which is Castles of Burgundy and Suburbia, which Suburbia is on Kickstarter right now for their Uber Collector's Deluxe Edition. And I showed my wife, I'm like, look. She's like, you have my permission. Yes! And then Castles of Burgundy, which it's their 20-year anniversary. They're doing a deluxe version. Aaliyah, the publisher Aaliyah, is doing a deluxe version, but it's not like the typical American deluxe version. You know, those Germans, they got to do it in a certain way. And all we know so far for the Castles of Burgundy Deluxe, it's going to come with all the expansions, all 10, and there's going to be some new art, because that was the one thing a lot of people complained about. It's very drab, but it's a great game, but it doesn't have those blingy, beautiful components. But so it's going to be hard because I already have everything. I mean, you know, I might have to tell my wife, like, oh my gosh, our copy got, like, destroyed. What are we going to do? So, what about your favorites?
Well, I agree that Seven Wonders Duel is a great game. It is definitely my favorite 2-player game personally.
She was upset when I called it.
Plus, it is really true to the original game, Seven Wonders, which is not a 2-player game. They are brilliant at how they pared that down into making it really well balanced for 2 players. But I digress. I thought long and hard, because you made me, about what my favorite 2-player game would be other than that. And so I have rated my favorite games on 3 different categories. I may have thought about this too much. Portability for date night, level of entertainment or replayability, because replayability is one of my big stars, and its ability to function as a 2-player game. So, that being said, the 2-player game that I play the most often with my spouse is Zeppelin Attack. And if you've never heard of that, I am not surprised.
I've never heard of it until she told me, and then I had to go research it.
And the reason why it is on our most played is because it's my husband's favorite. And there is nothing wrong with acquiescing to your partner's favorite game, because
See,
it is a good
Adelaida,
game.
listen. See what she's saying? It's okay. When I pull out a game and yes, you go, girl.
Now, Zeppelin Attack is a Pulp Fiction card-based game. It's a deck builder style, and it is based on the characters from the Spirit of the Century RPG. Spirit of the Century is a great story-driven role-playing game, and the characters that they have created as part of kind of the backstory to explain the rules of Spirit of the Century, they have written a series of novels featuring those. And so in that kind of world that they are building for the role-playing game and the books, they launched this game. And Zeppelin Attack is, you are the admiral of a fleet of Zeppelins, and you are trying to take out your foes. There are great...
Do you have a favorite flagship?
Goodness.
Because they see the flagships on the screen right now.
Oh, probably the Cerebellum then, because that's just a clever name. And I think the admiral's like the brain or something. He's gross. But it is actually a really solid game. Again, it's about that big. It's not too much to have already in the car, which is what we do. And then when we're going in for date night, we just grab that out and then we'll pull it out. And since it's a card-based game, it's really easy to keep compact. But you are able to purchase crew upgrades for your ships, more ships, things that are more weapons for defense, weapons for attack, and you build that into your deck, and as you are able to play them out, then you draw into your hand, and then you can adjust. But it has a fate component that requires that you are keeping your engine wet, as it were, for gaining fate, and then once you spend it, it's spent. And so you have to keep working on getting your fate engine, good and oiled so that that keeps moving while you're trying to gain enough assets to take out your partner in play. It can be played, I think, with more than 2 people, but it works great as a 2-player game.
Gotcha.
It is very fast to play because that's how I like all my games, and it is really ideal for wherever you need to set up. But I also thought I would focus on some games that are probably easier to find in our store because I don't know that Zeppelin Attack is even in print anymore.
Now you're gonna have people chasing it down and.
Well, too bad, exclusive. But I wanted to kind of point out these Paco games, and these are like literally the size of a pack of gum. They are generally really easy to play, and there's a whole range of them. So some of them are super easy and fast and don't require much thought at all, and some of them can be super strategic and require some thought, but are still fast to play.
When you brought these in, I thought she was bringing me some gum.
Yeah.
But they're so tiny.
Fit in a pocket, fit in a purse, they fit in a hand, and they can fit really easily on a bar top, on a table, wherever you want to go, and you want to have something between ordering your food or your drink and getting said item. These are great for that, and I just wanted to focus on those a little bit. But if time and space aren't an issue for you, and you are just looking for something to play at home or at an arena that has a larger space, then I have to include in my husband and I's favorite 2-player games, Alchemist and Mystic Vale. They are heavy. Well, Alchemist is a super heavy cerebral game. I don't care, I love it. And it works whether you're playing with 2 or 4. And of course, Mystic Vale is just a great game.
Oh, that's the one with clear cards.
That you are building the cards with other clear cards. It's in the same style of Gloom, if you've ever played Gloom, where you're adding things to the cards themselves instead of cards to your deck, which I think is a brilliant, play on the whole deck builder. So it's not quite a deck builder, you are deck modifying, I guess. And then of course, since I want to make sure that I pick something that is my favorite, my husband also likes them. I am addicted to escape rooms. Hello, my name is JD, and I am addicted to escape rooms. And therefore, some of my favorite games to play are going to be the Unlock or Exit the Box games, any kind of escape game.
So is that correct? Is that graphic correct? Unlock?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They have
There was a lot of them.
There are like, I think 12 now or something.
You put Unlock, and I put it into the search engine, and I came back, and I'm like, which one do I put up there? Which one's your favorite?
Goodness. We've played quite a few of them now. I don't know. Both Unlock and Exit the Box or Exit the Game are clever in their own ways. Exit, you destroy the game as you play. Unlock, you are using an app, and so you don't destroy the game, which means that when you're done with it, you can pass it on to somebody else.
You can reset it.
Yeah. Which is, I love replayability, even if I'm not the one playing it. So those are my favorite.
Awesome.
That was a lot, I know.
No. So, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple new things that are in Petrie's that you can come down and check out. And one of my favorites is some expansions for Firefly Adventures, Brigands and Browncoats.
Totally brown coat.
By my pretty floral bonnet, I will end you.
Such a good show.
It is. And it's published by Gale Force 9, which at Gen Con, 50th anniversary, 2 years ago, I actually was a demoer with Gale Force 9. I was doing Star Trek Ascendancy, but not Firefly, and I was like, I want that game so bad. So Gale Force 9 has done 2 Firefly games. Firefly the game, which is everybody against everybody, in a big verse.
It is so fun.
Yes. This one, Firefly Adventures, is a cooperative skirmish game with a really interesting time mechanic. So there's a time tracker that goes all the way around the board, and every action you do takes so much time. So the person that goes next is whoever is last in the timeline. So as you use time, you move forward, and as you pass somebody else, then that allows them to take actions. So it's really, really clever. Another great thing is it has boxes in the games that are 3D buildings. So it's almost like you're looking at an RPG grid, top down, but all the little boxes in the game are buildings. And you have these little miniatures, which is really great. But they just came out with 2 expansions this past winter. Respectable Folk and Wanted Fugitives. So, Wanted Fugitives, the original game, the base game only comes with 4 characters. You got Wash, you got Jane, you got Zoe, and you got Mel. But you can't have Firefly without River Tam and her brother. They're Wanted Fugitives. And then Respectable Folk comes with...
We just got the look.
Did we just get the look from Cameron?
No, I think that was a nod. You're doing good.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to choose to interpret it that way.
So you can see the components there on the screen. Comes with more cards, comes with the figures. But what you don't see there, the bottom of the box is a building itself. So it adds another building.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, and it's a modular board. There's about 6 different boards that you put together, and then you put the buildings, because there's all these scenarios. So the expansions even come with more scenarios, or jobs, as they call it in the verse. And it's really cool. The challenge was, and I did it, I was able to get everything, because when you open the base game box, all the buildings fit like a Tetris cube. And then you could put the components and little baggies in the buildings, and then it fits. Well, how do you put 2 more buildings that are this size in another box where I did it. It works. I'll have to show you a picture sometime. It's really cool. So, but you can find both of these expansions right now at Petrie's for just $19.99 each. So
they do a really good job of being honoring the source material and just making a great game to play. So even if you've never seen the show or the movie, shame on you.
Gale Force 9 is always doing really great with television, IPs, Firefly, Star Trek, Spartacus, Doctor Who. The art, Firefly Adventures was different. It was illustrations, but typically all their other games were real photographs from the television series or the movies. So, really great.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about something that I'm excited about being on the shelf, which is Comanauts. And that is Jerry Hawthorne's second installment of the adventure book system.
It's not Comanauts? I know nothing about the game.
It might be. You are tomato and tomatoing a lot.
Well, when you think Comanauts, is it like in a hospital? Is it you talk.
But it's all okay. Yes, it is about a coma patient, but it's also about the idea of being an explorer or an astronaut into the mind. So in a comatose patient, which is why those words are glommed together into Comonaut or Comanaut. Either one is fine. Just works however you want. It is a beautiful story-driven game where you are delving into the mind of a scientist you must rescue from his own inner demons in order to save the world. It is like...
that actually sounds more interesting because, another story-driven game is like Mice and Mystics.
Same guy.
But I couldn't get into that theme. But
have you played that game?
I've watched other people play it. It's like The Secret of Nim. It's just not my thing. I love sci-fi. I love that kind of techie stuff. So this seems to be more my flavor.
It is weirdly the second installment after Stuffed Fables, which is about the stuffed animals of a little boy that are coming to life. I didn't look into that one as much, but the story, as far as I understand, is that little boy grew up and now he was experimenting, he did something which has now put the world in peril, and he's the only one that can save it, but the thing he did put him in a coma. It is like terribly intense and dramatic, but when you're playing through the story, you can choose as a group or individual to ignore whole paths as you're playing through. So there is a lot of information to discover that may or may not be relevant that will get you towards the end of the game, but that's part of the adventure book system that he created, that it's almost like a role-playing game that is a story-driven, moment on the tabletop. So
Nice.
we are excited to have it on our shelves, and you can get any of these new games that we have discussed here at Petrie's Family Games, just in
Except
case.
for Zeppelin Attack.
Well, but we're talking about the new games on the shelf.
Yes, new games on the shelf.
You can get
That
some
is
of those
correct.
other ones that I mentioned too. But we, of course, since you couldn't make it tonight, and since you are watching now, we thought we'd give you a little gift that is not chocolate, but maybe just as sweet. And that is this month's coupon code just for you.
Yeah, so come on down to Petrie's and you get 10% off. Yes. Just tell them PFGS0219, and that is good till the end of February.
That's true.
So, I think we've come to the end of the show for tonight. So, I may have to steal some desserts, but I can't. I want to
You're
so
doing
bad,
so
but
good.
I know. I'm doing so good. So, yes.
Well, we thank you for enjoying. I hope you enjoyed it.
We did.
But, of course. We're glad that you joined us. And of course, we want to make sure that you know that we do this on a regular basis. So watch.
Even though this is the second time.
Well,
It's
that
already
makes us regular.
Yes.
2 months, 2 episodes.
Yes.
So look for us next month and be on the watch out for those notifications, because we are going to tell you when we will be joining you next.
Because it's not on a set day. It's usually focused on some big event. So
And we have
last
some
month,
new big events in the works.
yeah,
So
last month was the Keyforge tournament. Tonight is the couples night. So there's so many events in March.
yeah, we have some exciting announcements.
And then April, Starfest.
We are.
We might be broadcasting live from Starfest.
That's
It's
that's
gonna
what
happen. It's gonna happen.
And we are super excited about all those things. So make sure you turn on your notifications here on Facebook so that you know when we go live. But of course, also so that you can get notified of all of the events that we post, the photos that we publish, and of course, just in general what's going on here at Petrie's. We of course invite you anytime to visit our website, but like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We do all the things. And of course, if you weren't able to join us live tonight, then hello from YouTube land, because that's probably where we are now, unless you have found us here on Facebook land again.
Yeah. And we'll be uploading this video up on YouTube. And so if you are watching on YouTube, just look on the description below and you'll be able to click on any of those links to follow us on all of our social media channels.
Subscribe.
So thank you. Oh, like, subscribe, and share. That feels so cliche
Yeah, we need to come up with
because
a
everybody
bit.
says that.
All right. I'm going to put you on a mission, all you who are watching. How do you like people to end their live casts? What inspires you? What would entertain you? How about you let us know in the comments what you would like to see next, who you would like us to talk to, if you have especially burning questions. We may even eventually get Cam to get in here and not be glaring at us through the window.
It's scary. All right. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm Robert. This is JD, and we are the Guild of Gamers live podcast by Petrie's Family Games. And thank you to Repos Productions for powering our show tonight, Couples Night,
Yeah.
episode number 2.
Thanks for watching and keep gaming fun.
Have a good night.